Our pace of living leaves us little time for leisure. Our program will give you a chance to experience the fascinating world of traveling, extreme adventures, hunting and fishing. Each week we will take you to the most beautiful places of Kazakhstan. Every summer, Central Tian Shan attracts hundreds of mountaineers and hikers from all over the world. Here there are two 7,000-meter peaks, the Peak of Victory and Khan Tengri. The Peak of Victory is the most northern 7,000 peak on the planet, and Khan Tengri, being situated at the ridge of Tengri Tag, is the highest peak in Kazakhstan. The height of the mount is 7,010 meters. Khan Tengri translates from the Turk language as the Lord of the Skies, the Lord of Spirits. Local people call the mount Khan Tor, or the Bloody Mount. At the sunset, the white snow cap of the mount is colored bright red and is well seen at a large distance. Since the middle of the last century, the inaccessible chain of mountains has been the center of attention for researchers and travelers. In 1857, well-known Russian traveler Semyonov Tanshansky discovered a chain of gigantic white peaks from the Tersky Alata ridge. According to the explorer, the ridge was all covered with glacier. In the middle of these rock giants, there was a huge snow and ice pyramid, with a sharp peak which outsized other peaks twice as much, which was seen from a distance. The sky was cloudless, and only over Khan Tengri could the traveler see a small light cloud which crowned the white snow mound, a little lower than the peak. On his way, Semyonov Tanshansky faced a serious challenge: the inaccessible Sarezhas ridge. For a long time, the location of the top of the mount was approximate. In 1935, Central Tian Shan became a destination for a Kazakhstani expedition led by Yevgeny Kolokolnikov. He was a military topographer, and the aim of the expedition was to check the accuracy of map features of the rock site. When he saw the peak, he realized that the best way to accomplish the mission would be reaching the peak and taking photographs from there. In 1936, the first Kazakhstani expedition to Khan Tengri was made. Then the Second World War broke out, and for 18 years there was no human in the region of Khan Tengri. But today, during the season, hundreds of mountaineers conquer the peak. We join one of the commercial groups. Every summer, at the foot of the mount, camps are set up. One on the northern Inilchek glacier under the northern wall of Khan Tengri, and others on the southern Inilchek, where the mount has an ideally even surface resembling a smooth pyramid. The steep rock is climbed only by well-trained and prepared mountaineers, and Kazakhstani sportspeople have become conquerors of the peak more than once and are recognized worldwide as the strongest mountaineers. Also, there is a more challenging route for more experienced athletes on the southern side of the mount. Climbing down from this part of the route is only possible from the peak, so only skillful, well-equipped mountaineers undertake it. The most popular routes are from the north and south of the mount. The participants of international camp Khan Tengri prefer the classical route to the 7,000-meter peak. The threat of avalanches at Tian Shan is mostly closer to the afternoon. Therefore, the route is started before the dawn. There are quite a lot of groups that choose trekking across central Tian Shan, where the most remote point is one of the base camps below Tengri2. In this case, the hikers walk from the Bayan Kolkuosh, and this takes several days. Others choose to travel by helicopter. The helicopter pilots are trained to fly at high altitudes. Several mountaineering festivals have been held here, and the spectators enjoy the opportunity to find out about Kazakh national horse races and take part in celebrating national festivals. If you want to spend your holiday at Tian Shan, you should know that the way from Almaty to a base camp in the Karkara terrain takes about 4 hours. You will have to spend a couple of days at the Green Camp, situated on a flat slope of a ridge, to adjust to the local climate. Then a helicopter will take you over the ridges and passes off the huge rock terrain that occupies large territories of Asia. Below, you will see Lake Merzbacher, which was named after German researcher Gottfried Merzbacher. Every summer, when the sun melts some of the ice here, large amounts of lake water, not being held by the natural dump, gush to the inflow of the river Inilchek. At this time, the level of water may rise by 5 to 6 meters.
How do you like these mountains?
Oh, it's really wonderful.
A helicopter will take you to one of the glaciers 4,000 meters above sea level. We arrive at the base camp situated on a moraine of the southern Inilchek glacier, at the place where it joins the Zvyozdychka glacier. From here, one can have a wonderful view of the Peak of Victory and the Khan Tengri peak, probably the most beautiful view on this planet. The highest mount of Tian Shan is situated at the origin of the Zvyozdychka glacier, on the Kokshal Tor ridge. The history of ascents to the Peak of Victory is rich in tragic accounts. The distance between the two 5,000-meter passes, Chontoren and Diki, which surround the pass from both sides, is 20 kilometers according to a map, but we have to move there considering all the peculiarities of the landscape features. The mount is situated on the borders of Kyrgyzstan and China and is in 78th place among the highest mountains in the world. The ridge consists of 3 peaks. The western peak, the Vazheb-Shavella peak, which is 6,918 meters high, the eastern peak, 7,079 meters, and the main peak, which is 7,439 meters. The most popular route to the Peak of Victory lies through the northern ridge of the Vazheb-Shavella peak. The way to the upper point of the Victory Peak is through the western ridge, which is very steep and sharp, covered with ice and whose overall length is about 2 kilometers. Novice mountaineers do not ascend the Victory Peak. It is only achievable for experienced athletes. In 1984, a team of Kazakhstani mountaineers made a unique route up the northern wall of the Peak of Victory, which, since then, has not been followed by anyone. It was given a name Dollar due to the features of the route that resemble the dollar symbol. The perpendicular straight line to the dollar route was added by mountaineers Denis Urubko and Gennady Durov. They made the new direct route having walked through the high rocks. For this pioneer ascent, they were awarded with a prestigious prize, the Golden Ice Axe of Asia. From here, it takes 25 minutes to go to the northern Inilchek glacier by helicopter. We enjoy spectacular views of the Tersky Alatau ridge, and to the southwest we see the 6,000-meter peaks of the Kokshal Tor ridge. Eventually, we see hundreds of tents on the glacier, the International Mountaineer Camp. The camp administrator allocates some space for our tents. To the left of us, British mountaineers have settled. So have the Poles in their neighborhood. We are amazed at the sight of rising mountains. This mount is interesting not only for foreign expeditions, it attracts Kazakhstani ones as well. Apart from Kazakhstan expeditions, here there are similar expeditions from Poland, Ukraine, Russia, and a lot of them come from the UK. Later on, we will have expeditions from the States, Japan and South Korea. This peak is interesting in that it is the most northern 7,000-meter peak in the world. Mount Khan Tengri itself is fascinating with its landscape. The route is a good challenge for mountaineers as it's very complicated. There are experimental routes to the peak, and they attract a lot of hikers who would like to test their abilities and skills. We have to adjust to the local environment, and we walk on the glacier trying to adapt to the conditions. From the camp, one can see the path that leads to the shoulder of Peak Chapayev. On the snow, we can clearly see tiny figures of the mountaineers. This route runs on the right of the northern wall of Khan Tengri, where after heavy snow avalanches happen. In the mountains, the weather changes rapidly, like nowhere else. A moment ago it was sunny and you were about to walk out, but then you see the sky is covered with clouds in no time. And then you see that the clouds cover the peaks and passes, making the visibility poor and causing heavy snow. The snowfall gets so heavy that one has to clean the paths leading to the camp for several days using spades and constantly cleaning the snow off the tents. But all these are trivial problems compared to the fact that the people may be on their routes at the time of the disaster. At the first signs of a heavy snowfall, mountaineers dig caves in the snow and use them as a refuge until the snowstorm subsides. As soon as the sky is clear again, it is time to descend, but one has to do it very carefully not to provoke avalanches from the slopes.
Последние приготовления.
Last preparations, and Slava and Igor are setting off directly for the second camp. Igor, where are you planning to spend the night today?
Сегодня вы где планируете? На втором лагере?
We are planning to reach the second camp today at about 10 o'clock. At which height?
Какая высота?
5,006 meters. The altitude difference is about 1.5 kilometers above sea level. Having adjusted to the climate on the glacier, we are sent with one of the mountaineer groups to the first camp at the height of 5,000 meters. We are not professional mountaineers, so it is enough for us to reach this height. Our task is to see and learn as much as possible and have an exciting experience. We do not even pretend to be conquering the 7,000-meter peak. We have an extreme experience in our own way. We have tried to explore the inside of the glacier. For this, we chose one of the streams that cuts the glacier body and that goes towards its depths. We've tried to have a look at the unknown. Everything seemed to be alright until the moment Slava Topol slipped and got taken by the fast stream. An anxious thought popped into our mind. What if there is no exit and ahead there is a narrowing cul-de-sac? Fortunately, the fast stream, like in the amusement aqua park and the roller coaster, pushes us out to the outside of the glacier, where we get blind with the sunshine. Cool. Awesome. We have to admit that even a professional mountaineer would never try their luck jumping over rivers in the glacier, as its edges may break. They know that any glacier is a trap that has plenty of crevices that are covered with snow and that have no bottom. Very often these crevices have no way out. But there are tricks that are familiar to mountaineers that allow them to survive in such traps. And it is time for us to go back to the mainland. We leave the place excited with a new extreme experience. We have seen two gigantic mounts, two 7,000-meter peaks, that in the list of the highest mountains. Ascending these heights brings the mountaineer an honorable title of the Snow Cat.